be alright, homeboy. You pressure. Everything you lost, you gonna get back. You already knew what they was coming for. They just come to take everything they can take, bro. And when you ain't got nothing else to give, they gonna walk out your life and make you feel like you did something wrong. But you gotta keep your head up, man. Life get beautiful, bro. Get greater later, man. You done been crossed by these people before, bro. How could you ever expect that them coming back in your life could ever do you any good? You set yourself up for failure. You being a fool, cause you making the same mistakes, but expecting a different result, homeboy. Everything you going through, it could be avoided. You taking yourself through. Think about the people that can't get up in the morning and walk out the door because they're incarcerated. Think about the people that ain't got no legs no more, they can't move. Think about the people that can't really work, they can't really provide, they can't really make a dollar because they ain't got no hands. You got both of yours, bro. No matter how many times you trip and fail, you got back up, homeboy.
I ain't gonna lie, boy, this shit might go over a lot of y'all folks' heads, but I'd rather have real hate around me than fake love, you feel me? Cause at the end of the day, bro, I don't think y'all folks understand how dangerous fake love is. When a person telling you they fuck with you and they want to see you win and they want to see you do all this good shit, but in reality they hating on you and they prowling on your downfall, it hit a little bit different than a motherfucker just telling you straight up I dislike you, you know what I'm saying? Cause I know how to move. I'd rather a motherfucker be around me in real life hate me than fake like he love me, on God.
Happy that you winning, nigga. Them niggas ain't happy for you, nigga. You better wake up. Them niggas sad as a bitch you winning. They salty. They disgusted that you winning. But you don't think these niggas happy yet. No, they not. Them niggas is praying for your fucking downfall.
Everybody don't got your best interest at heart. Everybody ain't all for you. Everybody don't want you to win. Feel me? Like, niggas be hating and be secret animosity. Like, that shit bad.
Well, like, what advice would you give somebody that kind of like overthinks a lot? Someone that goes through overthinking and they're trying to differentiate between their own thoughts, the enemy's thoughts, and the thoughts of God. Who is speaking to them?
The evidence is you're a woman of integrity, but I don't know. So I'm just not sure I can trust you. Well, come on, Cliff. The evidence is this is a woman of integrity. She's honest. She's loving. She's respectful. Well, yeah, I know that, but you know, there's some other things over here. And I can overthink things and destroy our relationship. So you're right. You got to be careful that you don't get into obsessively overthinking things. Stuart, what would you say?
Yeah, overgeneralizing or black and white thinking. So overgeneralizing is simply, looking for the bad always in the good. There's always bad following good, where it's, oh, I see light in this situation. God, I see your blessing here. But right behind it, oh, wait a second. Could this be me getting it wrong? Is this really the devil doing this? Is the devil hidden in this? So that type of overthinking, overgeneralizing, black and white thinking is always just completely splitting down between, taking a person and saying you're either all good or you're all bad. But we know from a theological perspective, we're all a mix, created in God's image, but then Genesis 3, we're all sinful. And so when it comes to overthinking from a psychological perspective, things like meditation, prayer, exercise, sitting in stillness as much as possible, but then also being very active, those are all important physically and psychologically. But then when it comes to theological, quieting down and saying, God, I know who you are, I know your character, and calling out that character. See, that's exactly what we talked about yesterday when it comes to prayer, ACTS, that you get right out of the Lord's Prayer, adoration, confession, thanksgiving, supplication. So adoring God for who he is, then thanking God for who he is and what he's given you. And then C, confession. C came before T. C, confession. What is the wrong that I've done? And then S, supplication, asking him for things. If you are overthinking when it comes to your spiritual life, you're probably asking him things, asking too many things of him too frequently. Start with that adoration and confession and thanksgiving. That, for me, helps break up this type of overthinking, incessant overthinking, because I struggle with the same thing.
If God is so loving and so powerful, then why do you suffer so much? Why do innocent people get raked over the coals? What's going on? Doesn't God care? Or is he simply too weak to do anything about it? Is God disinterested? First part of the answer is, I do not know. And I can promise you in 1997, when I went out to Madison, Wisconsin, where my brother, younger brother, was a transplant surgeon, transplanting kidneys and livers, I went out there because his 7-year-old daughter had just been crushed in a car accident to death. And if you think that I'm going to go out, meet my brother who's far more intelligent than I'll ever be, and explain to him why God allowed his 7-year-old daughter to be crushed by a pickup truck coming down the road at 55 miles an hour, why the babysitter didn't see the stop sign, ran the stop sign, and that pickup truck slammed to the side of the car, sending my 7-year-old niece to an early grave, I'm not going to do that, because that'd be lying. I do not know why God allowed evil and suffering. But come on, Cliff, you got to think. Well, yeah, we do have to think. You're right. And one of my thoughts on is, the issue is this, which I think is very biblical. God chose to limit his power by creating us with a free will. Which means I can either pull out my wallet and give you money to eat lunch, or I can roll this hand into a fist, send it crashing into your handsome face. I am free to do either. And what the Bible teaches is in Genesis chapter 1, God created us in his image, which means we are not robots, we're not machines. And I like to walk, so if I stumble and fall off of this stage, I'm not going to pick myself up at the bottom and say, phew, I'm glad that's over with. That's determinism. That's fatalism. God creates us in his image, which means we're not robots, we're not machines, we're human beings created with a soul, a personality, but it also means we got a free will. And if we want to abuse our free will, we can go right ahead and do it. But there will be a day of judgment when God promises to hold us responsible for the free decisions that we have made. And that's why Joshua stands before the people of Israel and says, if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So Genesis 1 says, God created this, and God saw that it was good. And God created that, and God saw that it was good. And you got to get the point, guys. When an author repeats and repeats and repeats a little phrase, obviously he's trying to get the point across. When God created, he did a good job. And that little phrase, God saw that it was good, is repeated and repeated and repeated in Genesis 1. But in Genesis chapter 3, we read how human beings rebelled against God. They didn't eat an apple. They ate some fruit. But that is symbolic of their rebellion against God. It's symbolic of sin. And why do I sin? I sin because I think I'm smarter than God, and I know it'll make me happier. So I'm going to do it my way instead of God's ways. Not because I'm trying to be evil. I'm not trying to be evil. I'm trying to be happy. My problem is I think I know how to make Cliff happier than God knows. And that's basically what Adam and Eve did. We know what'll make us happier. We will define good and evil. We will assume godhood. And when they made that decision, that's where the train got off the track. That's where the arrow missed the mark and things got ugly fast. Because when God steps back, chaos fills the gap. Now, what's one of the main points of the book of Job? One of the main points of the book of Job in the Old Testament is, life is unfair, God is fair. Don't get the two mixed up. Life is unfair, God is fair. Do not get the two mixed up. So when you suffer, if you clench your fist and wave it at God, that's misplaced anger. Misplaced anger. It's not God who's getting you. Rather, it's you're born into a cursed, unfair, messed up world. Life hurts. And to blame God is a cop-out. The same way if I hold back, slap you in the face, and then turn to you and say, God made me do it. That is a cop-out. I'm lying through my teeth to you. He gave me a free will. I am responsible for feeding you, or I am responsible for slapping you. God gave me that innate ability. That's part of why I believe we have a soul. Because you see, friends, if there is no God, you don't have a free will. If there is no God, you just are a chemical reaction between your two ears. That's all you are. And determinism wins the day. Fatalism wins the day. What will be, will be. What is, is. No, the Bible teaches we've been created in the image of God. We have a soul, and that means a rational mind, a free will, the ability to love or to hate or to be indifferent. We choose.
No way you're over 20 living with your parents.
There's nothing wrong with living in your mama house at 21, 22, 23, or 24. It ain't nothing wrong with it. Struggling by yourself is crazy. Struggling on your own just to say you live on your own. In this economy, is crazy as hell, bro. Hey, don't let nobody tell y'all that living with your parents at 21, 22, 23, 24 is wild. That's why white people they be ahead of a lot of motherfuckers because they be staying in their mama basement until they ready, bro. They be staying in their parents' house until they financially ready. But a lot of black people be thinking that living with your mama at 21 plus is fucked up, and they be living on their own, struggling like a motherfucker.
I just feel like that's a spit in God's face if I just don't keep on going. No matter what stops me, no matter what is in my way, I'm like, I gotta figure this out because the reward is gonna be so great. That's how I see it.
Woman is never the prize to the man that she wants. She's only a prize to the men that want her. Because in most cases in life, most men cannot have sex and physical relationships at their own will with the women that they truly desire. Like, they have to get what they can get.
Salute the Bootleg Kev. You said OnlyFans is providing women with a safer alternative to the streets and offering them a sense of intimate freedom.
Yes.
Elaborate on that.
I mean, it's the alternate substitution to prostitution. Mm-hmm. It's a way for a woman to give a man the same ecstasy and fulfillment that he gets touching her body physically, but she could do it from the comfortability of her home in her living room or in her bedroom and retain the physical side of her dignity. Now, there may be an opinion from her family's friends, co-workers, or loved ones about her body being out there on pictures, but again, like we talked about earlier, we living in a world where the average woman on the internet is showing you some form of skin. Mm-hmm. It feeds her marketing strategies much more when she looks appealing and sexually appealing to the eye of not just men, but the women who inspire to look like her.
Is that why you always say men suffer in silence?
We do. Every day. Every day. It's hard to communicate sometimes when you're a man because we done been through so much. And you never want to say something that we don't never want to say nothing to make us look weak or be vulnerable. Then you got to be careful who you be vulnerable with because when you're a man, you know the thing is, don't test me. I don't want to be tested, and if I am tested, I'm really willing to die.
I know we've had some difficult times lately, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. In the darkest times, hope is something you give yourself. That is the meaning of inner strength.
Don't ask anyone what they think you should do. Make a decision. You're going to do this. You're going to get involved in this. I don't care if you have to go and borrow the money from your grandmother. You're going to make a decision right now, today, that you are never going to lower your standard of living. You have the potential that God gave you. You've got all the potential in the world. Anything anybody else does, you're quite capable of doing. But you've got to make a decision to do it. And don't worry about where the money or everything's going to come from. It'll come. When the Maharishi Yogi decided to take transcendental meditation to the world, somebody said, where's the money going to come from? It's going to cost a lot of money. He said, wherever it is right now. When you make a decision, you'll always find the money. The way will always show itself. I want to thank you for giving me your attention. I think it's fairly obvious I love doing this. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have.
Be proud of yourself. You're doing the work, making things happen. Your journey is unique, and every twist and turn is shaping you into the incredible person you are meant to be.
Not even gonna lie, I've been taking W's after W's after W's
At the W, it's kind of like God been like, hey, here go a W, here go a W. Proud of you, here go another W. Well, I ain't gonna sit here and count. You deserve this one too. Here go another W. It's on, what it is, Monday? Here go another W. Hey, here go another, man, I'm telling you. Boy, I've been taking dubs. And listen, boy, we gonna keep taking W's. Listen.
If you got hidden animosity for a nigga, say that shit. I'm tired of all this hidden animosity shit and trying to fake like you giving me advice like you actually give a fuck about my situation. Tell it to a nigga like it is, bro. Stop with all this punt faking shit and trying to dance around how you actually feel, bro. Stop the fake shit, bro. Stop trying to act like you give a fuck about what's going on with me when you really just trying to figure out what's going on with me just to use it against me later. I'm not with that hidden animosity shit, bro. If it ain't directed, that shit damn well ain't respected. Dead homies. So all that hidden animosity shit, that shit dead as fuck. That shit watered down.
As a man, the first thing you do is you accept responsibility. You know, you be so stuck and addicted to your habitat that you almost forget that the other shit is out there. But at some point, I would just rather rip and run and be in the streets. You know what I mean? Type shit when realistically, I could be at somebody's house playing 2K or somebody else chilling or somebody out the way. So after a while, it's like, why even be in the streets? You know what I mean? Like, why be outside? That, it kind of don't make sense. That thin line between life and death is like follicle hair thin. So it's not just getting shot. Like, you could be in a car accident. You could have a stroke. You could just be sitting there drinking water and shit. Like, dog, I probably could have never been drinking a bottle.
Gina on a track.
You know we built this shit ground up together. You know we did this right. Whoa. Lost in the rap shit though, they found us together. Yeah. Family made it, yeah, I know our mama's proud of us. In my feelings, even though this money piling up. In not jail cells, I know you getting tired of cuffs. Studios 8 in the morning on codeine, tired of fucks. I remember everybody was asleep, I was doing my lines. I dropped some bars and let you come out the mine. Got your back, you got my back, let's swap out that spine. And my brothers keep it, we can't go to Nino. You ain't even from the door, they play that shit just like it, man. Like then I tell you that I laid 1,600 times. I miss you and I know you missing me, Cap. Man, I miss my dog. Midnight club popping, midnight we were blowing strips, midnight we were hustling. Man, I miss my dog. Me and you through thick and thin, me and you to the very end. Only you I sin again. Man, I miss my dog. Midnight club popping, midnight we were blowing strips, midnight we were hustling. Man, I miss my dog. Me and you through thick and thin, me and you to the very end. Only you I sin again. Man, I miss you, dog.